Thank you very much. I would like to really reiterate what the others said and to express the gratitude for inviting to such a prestigious event. For me, it's all the more so a pleasure and a privilege to be in such a distinguished panel. I would like to say mentors I was learning from during my career in the diplomatic service, be it national or European. So definitely, it is a little bit difficult to come and challenge what was said by my previous panelist, distinguished member of the parliament, Mr. Hofstadt, because actually I will not entirely agree with this empire's approach. And I would not agree, not because that will mean to get a little bit of a step back trying to look into the future, but in diplomatic service we are deeply convinced about the true nature of the effective multilateralism still, despite the crisis that we have and despite the all the challenges that actually occurred in the multilateral arena, particularly after the illegal and the illegitimate war that Russia started against Ukraine. It is true that all these challenges that multiplied the previous challenge we had, migration, climate, aging of the population, added a lot of pressure, which sometimes really propped up the tendency to revert to power politics, to aggression, to imperial approaches and the real politics. But the most concerning aspect is that actually by accepting this kind of approach, we actually risk to reach at the threshold where rules and rights become irrelevant in face of the brute force. And here I do not believe that we just have to stand still, and actually we really have to act collectively together to try to promote this effective multilateralism based on values, because this is what the European Union is actually founded on, and what the European Union was the best of, even by sending the message of becoming an example of integration for some other integration exercise somewhere else worldwide. So ensuring a smooth adaptation of the order actually should concern all the countries and motivate them to act into the future. Here, if 5 years ago somebody would have asked about Finland and Sweden, maybe if that question would have been put in I don't know, in Brussels NATO or in Brussels EU, most probably everybody would raise the eyebrow. But I can guarantee you that if that question would have been asked 5 years ago in countries like Romania, like Poland, these eyebrows will have not been actually raised. And we were predicting quite a long time this kind of movements by Russia, and finally we received some answers that, you know, we told you so, was actually an expression that was not very much believed. We are actually very unhappy to be in that position, but here we are. What we have to do now is actually I believe, to promote this sense that the European Union needs to take actions, particularly to continue to promote those values and those standards, and to show examples and lead by example, even if it is to make some efforts, internal political efforts, to consolidate, the strategic framework that the member states propose. I do agree with the slides that have been presented here, and I know that this is permanently on the discussion on different level of the Foreign Affairs Council, of the European Council by our leaders, and I'm quite confident that a solution will be found there. In our case, our aim is as a border state is not only to safeguard actually the borders of the European Union, as distinguished Mr. Stanishev put it, but actually to consolidate in a way this ideological front line in terms of promoting the values of democracy, of human rights, of rule of law, and to have a positive public perception about of the European affairs as far as its foreign policy is concerned. It's not easy, indeed. You have 27 mandates, you have 27 proposals that have to be accommodated, but I would guess that is the only way. And actually what we can do more to demonstrate that is to use this power of positive statecraft that is done by the European Union, particularly when we speak about the enlargement with Ukraine, with the Republic of Moldova, with the countries in the Western Balkans, because that is the way in which we can not only fill in the empty space left by the others, but actually to build partners or to build a neighborhood or to build a constituency in terms of membership that actually responds to the lines and look like us and look like the entire European construction. And actually, this is not impossible despite of the fact that it's very challenging. Why? Because A, Europe wants to do it and has the political determination to do that, and countries themselves want to do it. And the members, societal members of those countries want to do it, and they use each and every opportunity, each and every tool, whether they have their connections in the European Parliament or the governments, to promote why they deserve to engage in an accelerated process of integration with the European Union. And maybe by supporting Ukraine and by supporting those countries, actually we clearly demonstrate not necessarily kind of an imperial approach, an empire survival type of adaptation to the local realities and to the real politics, but rather to demonstrate our commitment to the United Nations Charter's principle and values and reject aggression. Because I guess this is the message that is the most important one to be sent despite all the electoral exercise all our countries are engaged with during particularly this year. Of course, that will require a strong cooperation and collaboration between the governments. I can even say that those who want to collaborate further on, they do it. We last year actually hosted an excellent exercise among 12, now 13 countries that actually wanted to prove their own contribution in enhancing the integration in 3 areas, transport, energy, and digital, being identified as areas where this part of the European Union needs to mitigate the development gaps that does exist within the European Union between East and West, so as to be able to increase the resilience and also to be able to help neighbors like Ukraine facing the war, help neighbors like the Republic of Moldova to remain resilient, and also help the countries in the Western Balkans by concrete projects which are, subsumed to the Global Gateway, for instance, initiative of the European Union, but that actually was an exercise proving that A, there is the will, B, there are the tools, and C, there are the resources put together by themselves, those countries, to show that this exercise of integration, of promotion of values, standards, European standards and norms, it's not a futile one, it's not an exercise that reaches its own fatigue, and it's actually the only way in which you can really demonstrate that you can achieve something concretely in this challenging environment. So I would say that based on that, Europe has a twofold job. First and foremost is to ensure its internal resilience and coherence, and secondly, to act externally to support, its professed values whenever possible, along with the partners, and not only with the partners, maybe despite the competition that is put by somebody else's. I am very grateful that this example of Schengen area was very much into details presented by Mr. Stanishev, and definitely to say that we in Romania, we will remain definitely committed to this dynamism and to this direction of integration and of development based on norms and standards, and to promote this UN multilateral rules-based international order. Thank you.